Sup, you beautiful bastards. Hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Philip DeFranco, and today we are having a conversation with Eddie Burback.
Hi, guys.
Hey, welcome.
I've never been on this side of being introduced on a podcast. I realize how awkward I put people in the position of being like, hey, what's up?
So you get to experience everything. So this is going to be good because all of this is me relearning how to talk to another human being.
Okay.
That's really half of this.
Okay, good.
The other half is actually learning about the other person. This part is just, what is it like to talk to someone without jump cuts?
And the recording that is probably more nerve-wracking if that's when you want to learn it, is putting it on camera. So I want to learn something, but let's make sure hundreds of thousands of people see it.
Well, even when we were talking right before the podcast, when I was joking, where I was like, okay, time to film and completely stiffen up, every podcast that I've done, it's like natural conversation, there's a flow, and then I'm like, oh shit, there's questions I have to get to.
Yeah.
There's things I have to accomplish. But to start things off, for the people that aren't going to come to this to spam boys support boys, what would you describe what you do?
Oh, okay. I always struggle to tell family members too, because it's weird, because I guess, well, commentary, because this is a YouTube audience. Obviously, they know.
Yeah.
I'm not just saying it to people that are like, what's YouTube? But yeah.
You can make money on that. I'm like, I've been answering this fucking question for 11 years.
I guess I do like two main things and one side thing, I guess.
Okay.
Is I
would love if you just left it at that.
Yeah, that's it. I just do. But I do commentary videos.
Sure.
More recently, they've been on things from, I guess, my childhood that I'm like rehashing a little bit. Like my last couple ones have been on like sex ed or Dare. They're comedy videos. So like if you're expecting to get educated, maybe a little bit. But
I feel like you accomplish it though. Like the bird scooter video, I think was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm always worried though, now doing those videos, that I'm leaving like so much out, that I just like did my research. Yeah, I know. Just I feel like I'm always worried that I did my research and there's like 15 things I forgot. But like it seems like people don't. Not that they don't look into it as well, but people are a little bit forgiving, I think, when they know you're one person researching it.
I think it's one person researching it, and if the main driver, I think, is comedy, because on SourceFed, comedy was the leader, and then news was kind of second. But that's the reason my videos get so long is because of that. Because people are like, well, what about this? I'm like, well, it wasn't pertaining to the main point, but like, okay, so commentary videos.
Yeah. Also, that's terrifying because I always get to fall back on comedy as an excuse for a video being, but you guys have to like really get it. But yeah, then I have a podcast with my friend and roommate, Gus Johnson. It's called the Gus and Eddie Podcast, very creative name. And it's really nothing at all. We just fuck around.
Just two bros talking.
Yeah. And then I guess, what was the third thing? Oh, I guess I'm like
side thing.
The side thing was I do sketches with Gus occasionally as well.
But didn't you start with sketches or like kind of messing around with friends? Yeah,
I started with short films in high school. Okay. I mean, if it's really going back, I made like camcorder short films, since
so you were like kind of always into it.
Yeah, especially even making comedy videos back when I was like 5. Not a comedy video, but like trying to make stuff with like my brother and sister, and then with friends when I was like 10. I had a YouTube channel when I was 10, and it's deleted fully, thank God.
That is, yes.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm the age comparison there is way worse now. I sound like a kid where it's like, yeah, the YouTube channel was when I was 10 years old. But
because how old are you right now?
I am 22.
22. Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah.
So you actually grew up in I don't know why I thought you were like 25, 26.
People think I'm older than I am usually.
It's just, I think it's the facial hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if without it, baby face.
Yeah, no, really. That's why I grew it out in like October, and since then I have not fully shaved because I was like, oh, people take me way more seriously. With comedy.
If I came up at the time that you were messing around and posting stuff, I probably would not have a career, just because a lot of the early stuff is one, it's really bad. Two, it crosses lines that I wouldn't even get close to these days.
That's the worst thing is like, you just gotta, I have a couple of those where you just think back and you just kind of like, you just have to cringe about it. Yeah. There's not really much you can do and just go like, man, I hope nobody asks me about this anytime soon, because that's all I got.
Was there a reason you were kind of drawn to like the camcorder and messing around, or was it?
I don't know. I just always really liked it. I know my dad wanted to get into film. He wanted to be a set designer when he was in high school, but he never, he didn't end up doing it. He told me the story. I know it was like a big driver for me doing this, like as a job, is he told me that what he really, really wanted to do it and was thinking about it. And the teacher that was teaching the class in high school ended the class by going like, by the way, if you don't know anyone in the industry, you won't get a job. So don't even try. And so he just didn't. And then that was like a big, so for me, he told me that and I was like, okay, I'm going to.
Yeah, but I think pulling in what I would say 300 to 1.2 million on any video, right? Because you never know how the system's going to treat you. I mean, that's huge. We all, I feel like we all started and you posted, and aging myself, I'd share my shit on MySpace and I'd be like, hey guys, check it out. And just like try and get anyone to pay attention. And I mean, you talked about commentary, kind of making fun of anyone that was larger than me, or kind of making fun and giving praise to someone so they could like kind of throw a rope down for me to climb up on. But yeah, I feel like that's part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, one thing is just even mentioning commentary topic stuff. It was so much easier when I was smaller to make these videos because you could just pick a topic and be like, nobody's gonna fucking hear this. And wait, we can swear on this, right? That's totally cool.
Yeah. Oh, on this property?
Yeah.
No, they're not gonna monetize anything I do. I don't care. We're fine.
Yeah, I saw that screenshot of your recent uploads. Holy shit!
This week we're 4 for 4 yellow. Thank God we have a guy dedicated to sponsorships, because
demonetize so much it's like a Wendy's menu. It's a 4 for 4 joke, guys. There you go.
Hey. Well, don't worry. We got lots of Wendy's fans in the audience.
So many Wendy's jokes coming up, guys. If you just don't touch that dial, just keep watching the podcast.
So with the channel that you you said it was like you were 10 years old.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff was it? Mainly kind of sketch and short film at that point?
It was. I wouldn't even say short film just because it's not. That it was my friend, he was also a gaming YouTuber now, actually. We grew up together. He lived on my street. And my friend Charlie, we would go to his house, and he had like this his parents had like a nicer camcorder that we were not allowed to use.
Sure.
And then he had like a cheaper Sony one. And we made videos on that and edited it on his computer. And they weren't like anything, because we were 10 and your brain just doesn't make anything that people can watch. They were like trying to do like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if we named this like the serial killer with cereal instead of, you know, and then like that's the
at
joke
10,
of
that's
the video.
top notch.
Yeah, it's
at 10,
hilarious.
that's top tier.
But yeah, after that in high school, my friend Zach and I started making sketches together. He was kind of like my pre-Gus, I guess. Gus had that too, with his friend Joe. And like, I wouldn't be here doing this if it wasn't for Zach, because like both of us just really wanted to do it. And he ended up he's doing very well for himself. He's a runner for University of Illinois and everything.
I'm so glad things worked out, because after you called him pre-Gus, I was like, oh man, I really hope.
No, yeah, I would
bottom
never.
out from there.
Zach, I played PlayStation with him 2 nights ago. He's a very close friend still.
I mainly do it out of guilt.
Yeah.
No. So wait, when did you meet Gus then?
Gus and I met, I think beginning of 2017. A lot of people assume we've been friends our whole life. A lot of people think we like grew up together. But it was really, it's one of those random chance things where I don't like thinking about how close we were, just like missing everything. He had a video called How to Be a Professor. And it was on the trending page. And I liked the video a lot, and I went to his Twitter, and at the time, especially, I think like I had like 700 Twitter followers. He had like 2,000. We both followed each other and started talking and just kind of hit it off. And the nice thing I think for us is that he had a Kickstarter for a TV show type thing called Par 9. And I went to be like an actor on that, even though I don't really act. Like 2 months after we met, or maybe 3 months. So it was like instantly we were kind of real life friends, because I stayed there for a week and hung out with him. So it was nice that we didn't have the whole like, oh, we've been talking for 3 years and now we're meeting in person. It was just kind of like we were acquaintances and then became friends in person, which was nice. Yeah.
Well, I would say a lot of my early friends was very similar, just because we were a bunch of weirdos kind of making things to reach out to other people. They were like, oh, we like each other. Great. Let's move to a different state.
Yeah.
Is that similar with you guys? Or because you're originally from Chicago?
Yeah, suburbs of Chicago. I got to stress it or people get mad at me.
People get angry if you don't mention?
If you're from the suburbs and you say you're from the city, people get like really upset. Even though both my parents are from the city, my grandma's from the city, and I would be in the city constantly, I can't say it.
Doesn't count.
I'm not allowed.
Doesn't count. Wait, so how long have you been out here then?
Little over a year. I think July 11th was the day we moved in of 2018.
Wow. Has that been normal? Is it still Is it still fun? I say still fun. I know that when I came out here, I was like, I can't believe I'm fucking doing this. The first time I saw the beach, I was like, ah.
Yeah. Well, one thing is we visited out here a couple of times before we moved.
Sure.
So I got that, I think, kind of wow factor of it out because we stayed for a while. And also I really like where I'm from a lot. So that kind of, it sucked a little bit to move. I don't know if it's like how public it is. He edits our podcast, but I have a twin brother, not identical, but because that would be like, if we were identical, people should know. But moving away, that was like pretty tough because we're really close. But I go back all the time. So being out here is like, it's just really fun so far. Yeah. We just like make videos, share a podcast, play video games, and then I go back home.
So you're not at the point where you're like, oh, I got to go fucking over the hill for this thing.
No.
It's still like, oh, I get to go here.
Yeah.
That's great. That's fresh.
I'm
Are you
waiting
going to stay out here forever?
I don't think I'll ever like settle here just because I like Chicago too much.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The weather really, really sucks there. Like the older I got, the worse like seasonal depression and like my skin was worse, like just drier. But yeah, I don't know. I like it out here. A lot of it is like, I like what's going on right now. I have no idea what's going to happen in the next 10 years. So let's hope it's good. I mean, like, I really don't know.
Well, what do you think? What do you want to happen in the next 10 years? I know that might be too fucking heavy.
Check this out. Ready? I hope world hunger ends.
Boo.
I hope
fuck this guy.
Sadness is gone. Just goes away.
So you're running for Senate.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I would love to. There's a couple of weird goals.
You don't have to preface it with that. If anyone's willing to be like, this guy wants a career, fuck this guy. He could be curing in this hypothetical scenario. Fuck him.
That's what they'll expect out of me now. I'll be like still making YouTube videos in 10 years. They're like, you said. But yeah, I don't know. There's a couple of weird ones. I mean, Gus and I have like a TV show idea that I think would be really good and still would fit in the format of like a more YouTube type thing.
Sure.
It would still maintain the feeling of us rather than us like jumping ship and doing something other than YouTube. And I've always also wanted to make an animated show with my brother, like more something along the lines of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, or like I'm not a huge fan of it. Like, not that I don't like it, but like Samurai Jack or something like that. I really like those cool animated stories. So that's one that's like out of nowhere, and I don't know how I'd convince somebody to let me do that, but that's a hope.
What do you why do you want to make those things?
Well, I mean, everything for me, it's, you had that tweet of like, what's success, to you, and mine is being able to do comedy. And I tweeted it out, but to be able to get paid to do comedy and to like have enough time with my family and friends. And with Gus, it's like we just kind of with comedy just kind of work, and it's really easy to do that. So that show thing would be cool, because I can't mention the idea, but in doing the show,
someone will immediately steal it.
Yeah, in doing the show. Well, the nice thing is about the show is like it can't really be done. The premise involves us so much that it can't, like, other people could do it, but it's more of like, I can't, I have to like dance around. This is so dumb. But yeah, I would love to do that just because we would get to like do things that we wouldn't be able to do for that show. And then the animated one is just, I've always wanted to make one of those stories. Just, I really love, I just have always wanted it. And when I watch those shows, like when I rewatch Avatar or something, I'm like, man, I really think I could make one that's like good.
So, I mean, okay. So do you feel like it's more in that part of it, right?
Yeah.
Not even the core of it. The making these kind of specific things. Is it because you want to prove to yourself that you can do it? Or?
No, it's just the process of it I would love. Especially like, I mean, really at the heart of both of those things is getting to make something with Gus and getting to make something with my brother. Those are the kind of big, and
so in that way, it's more of the experience of doing that. So
yeah.
It's is any part of it about, do you think the audience that's going to consume it, or that's just the thing that enables you to kind of have the experience?
No, it still has to do with like, yeah, I want it to be like good as well, So that's I don't know. There's a lot of stuff,
but
especially
even that, why? So kind of trying to get to it. You want it to be good.
Yeah.
Is that just so people praise you? Is it so people aren't like you suck, or is it so that someone like? Is there, when you watch Avatar, right? Do you have like an emotional reaction or something?
I think I was actually thinking about this recently. I hadn't talked about it with anyone, but I'm somebody who really loves like consuming entertainment all the time. Like, I like, even if something's kind of bad, I like to like it still, or at least talk about what I didn't like about it. And I think for me growing up, things that I liked meant so much to me that I would like to make something like that could fit, not be the sole thing for somebody, but could fit in that. Like
Sure.
if I, even just somebody like for comedy, like Chappelle or John Mulaney, it's like, I absolutely love what those guys do. I rewatch it all the time. And if I could give any of that like effect to somebody else with something I made, that's like the coolest thing ever for me.
So would you say that's kind of the core of why you like and maybe picked comedy?
Yeah, I just kind of like wanted to be one of them, you know? That's really it. It's just like watching their stuff. I'm like, man, if I could get to do this, this would be the coolest thing ever.
So for someone that does comedy, do you have like I feel like every 90% of comedians say it. Did you have some sort of like fucked up childhood in some way, or are you just the goofy kid?
I'll say like middle of the road childhood, you know, not the easiest, but not like super hard in certain ways. But
no one was like putting out cigarettes on your forehead.
No.
Okay.
But I think mainly the source of it is just, my family has always been really funny. And especially the relationship I have with my brother is just constantly like doing bits and joking. So especially even when we like late high school, or we both went to community college at the same time too. And it was just kind of like, we had a couple of friends we'd hang out with, but most of them went off to college, and just like joking around with each other has been like constant. Like my friends will speak for it, like even YouTube friends, that Tony is like the funniest person we all know. Yeah. So it's like, I almost feel like a fraud doing my channel where it's like, you guys are missing out. He's my twin and he's funnier than me and nobody gets to see it at all. So I think that's a real source of it, is just us constantly trying to make each other laugh.
That's great. So I like that though, because it sounds like it's a perfect balance of and an acknowledgement of like self, ego, personal experience, but then like the connection to another human being that kind of mirrors what you got out of people.
Yeah.
I dig it. So what qualities do you admire most from other comedians?
I think the biggest one, and it's good because I was watching Nathan For You last night for it, was commitment for most of it.
Okay.
Like, especially with something like Nathan For You, is just how fully he's willing to be in the most awkward situations that people would think of for the rest of their life. He's got like thousands of them. Or just really, it's full, commitment for it. I can sometimes... Again, I like most entertainment, even if it's like not super great. Comedy is something I think I'm a little bit more snobby about, where it's like, if I feel like something is cheaper, I don't like it more. I'm not like, fuck that person or anything for it, but it's when people really, really care about it. That's like my big thing for it. Like you can tell someone like Chappelle or Mulaney or Nathan, or even like any of the shows for it, like Key and Peele, they all like go all in when they do it. Their main goal is to make people laugh.
I really like that. What do you feel like if you like comedy so much, do you feel like, are you a big horror guy as well?
Not really at all.
Really?
Yeah,
I always feel like there's a kind of,
because the like reaction of it, that they're very similar. I just grew up I don't like the feeling. I like scary games a lot.
Okay.
I don't like for some reason, the feeling of being scared by watching a movie. I just don't like. It doesn't make me feel good at all. It's not like exhilarating. My body just goes like, I don't like that at all. You should get out of this situation. And I don't like run, but I don't know. I've just never really been super into it. I want to be, but I'm just not.
Do you feel like you have control problems?
Maybe like, personal.
Do you feel uncomfortable if you're out of control of a situation?
Not of a situation, but I think of my own emotions. Because like I think I have a pretty good, like I don't really argue with people much. I don't have like really big blow up moments, or not saying at all like I don't get sad, but like even I try and like manage my emotions like pretty well. So that's why it's like with laughter, it's something where it's like, oh, I'm uncontrollably laughing. That's totally fine. I'm enjoying myself. But yeah, I think feeling something I didn't want to feel makes me really uncomfortable. Yeah,
I was watching it's a scary story. I don't know. It's whatever's out right now.
Yeah, Scary Stories movie, like To Tell in the Dark. Yeah,
yeah. And I found myself at times feeling uncomfortable and wondering why am I watching this?
Yeah,
I mean it's really well done. I enjoy it. I'm surprised it's out so early and not near Halloween. But yeah, I don't know. It was interesting to me.
I loved those books as a kid. I read them like crazy.
I didn't even know that it was, because I guess there were 3 movies before, back in like the...
There are 3 movies before?
Yeah, the 80s and 90s, unless I'm completely wrong, in which case that might be the case. This is why most of the time when I film, I have researched and have a team of researchers.
I didn't know. I just know the 3 books that I read. And I think there was 3 volumes of it. And I know all of them were in my elementary school. And I read them when I was like 8. And I loved them because I like, even for books or games, I like that feeling of being scared, that kind of like eerie, you're really creeped out, or you're reading at night and you're like freaked out by it. I love that. Some about movies, like immediate reaction, I don't like. But those, especially, I mean, you saw the movie, even just the cover of the spider one. As a kid, just thinking about that, I couldn't read it anymore. Or Harold, was Harold in the movie at all?
Yeah.
The story of Harold when I was a kid freaked me out. Really? On the road trip here last year, Gus didn't know about it, and I explained it, and he was like super creeped out by it. So we decided to read it. But the story, like written, is actually way worse than I remembered, and not in a scary way of like it's not structured in a very, it kind of just wraps up immediately because it's a short story.
Yeah.
But I'm sure in the movie it was fucking terrifying.
Okay, so the actual book is just an actual collection of short stories.
Yeah, and they have these horrifying illustrations, one per story. And so like Harold was just this, you know,
I gotta check this out.
Yeah, it's
I won't be showing it to my son.
Yeah, definitely
check it out. So out of kind of comedians, I won't say like who inspired you because then people constantly make comparisons.
Yeah.
Who did you love growing up? Or because I imagine comedy was probably a big part of that. If you were from a funny family, there's probably a lot of focus.
Yeah. I can't, it's hard to tie, especially when I feel like I think back to the way I deal with comedy now. And it didn't really start until I was like 17 where I started, because it was when I joined improv in high school, which I didn't really love because they wanted to structure it like Whose Line. And that's fun for a bit, but I wanted to do like more long form, like let's mess around, let's do different stuff. But it was like, here's a game where you can't say the letter P in your improv. And I remember I asked them not to put me in that game in the show, and the teacher put me in the game anyway. And so the letter was L, and I just walked into the scene and I went lawnmower, and I turned around, I was just like pouting, like super mad about it. But so I think a lot of that influence came from like in high school. It's weird now, but Louis was a big impact on it. Mulaney, I love.
I don't feel like you have to be like.
It's still weird though, you know.
It's not like you're like promoting his new special.
I know.
It's just like we can't deny that certain things. Like I remember when I was a kid that sometimes there were episodes of the Cosby Show that came on.
Yeah,
and that brought in a different world. Like, and we can still say. And Cosby is a huge scumbag who deserves to be where he's at right now.
I just feel like without saying it, then people are like, huh, it's not anything, but it's a little note thing.
I guess that he's fine with jerking off in front of women that didn't ask for it. I guess
that's the one thing that comes off to somebody about me who they don't know me from the podcast. Wow, I can't believe it.
Main thing I know, wouldn't cure fucking AIDS and hunger and all that stuff. And he's a big fan of Louis C.K. jerking off around women.
But especially, I don't even know where to go after that. No, especially, I love too. Chappelle's talking about Louis thing was hilarious. That was one of. It's weird. People have opinions on Chappelle. I even talked about him publicly and got some uproar in my replies about it. But like, I think the way he talks about stuff is just like this guy fully kind of gets it. There's some stuff I don't agree with that he says, but it's like it's weird. He's got this perspective that nobody else has, where he blew up and was like the most famous comedian of that year, and then just disappeared and just kind of observed everything for 10 years. And it's just like, all right, here's what I think, after just kind of brewing on everything.
I imagine part of it has to come from knowing you fucking crushed it. Like you stepped away, like, because no one can ever kind of take that. Like people can say, oh, maybe it wasn't the right move. I think it's a lot harder to say that after he's cashing these Netflix checks.
Yeah.
And that the specials are actually, I personally think, fucking fantastic.
Yeah, I think all four are like some of the best of all time.
Yeah, if you can go in and be like, this is really fucked up that he said this and problematic. There's when it comes to comedy, especially because I feel like it's the thing that I will defend the furthest. I feel like those guys are on this insane tightrope. Those guys, oh shit, I fucked up. All these comedians are out there and they're on this tightrope. And it's not that they're even just on this tightrope. There's like people actively shooting at them while they're doing it, and aiming for it. I think and it's so interesting based off of like the reception, because everyone that Aziz Ansari, of course, different situation, although people kind of compare everything at the same level, which is hard when you're trying to have a conversation. But depending on where you went, that was either one of his best specials ever, or he's a fucking abomination who shouldn't have gotten a second chance.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, especially I think agreeing with that of the kind of tightrope they're on is Chappelle. That was a big thing in, I think it was the Bird Revelation, the small comedy club one, the one which insanely he did kind of like during Me Too and was like fully joking.
Was
like,
that where he did the Louis bit?
Yeah. And he was just talking about the importance of like speaking recklessly.
You're like, look forward to this episode. Some crazy shit happened.
I couldn't believe he did that. I watched it live and I was like, I can't believe he's saying this on NBC.
Yeah. Well, I feel like he kind of, and maybe I'm misremembering, I feel like he like just slowly ramped it up more and more to see what he could, like, he was one, I feel like the first comedians that I ever heard openly and in a funny way bitch about his kids.
Yeah.
Specifically call them like stupid and shit like that. I'm like, what's happening with that guy right now? I think he's probably still like he's doing clubs.
Yeah, again. He's doing clubs. Weird opinions on whatever happened with the recording of his last club thing, because also it's
because the Parkland kids.
Yeah, and it's like I don't know about what he was talking about, but also it's like it's not for anyone to judge a recording from a comedy club because it's not worked out. So it's like comedy clubs are where you're supposed to kind of be able to say anything, even if it's completely untrue, even if you don't believe it, or if it's really fucked up. That's where comedians learn like, oh, I shouldn't say this because I'm testing it out. But it's like I heard it and was like, I don't like that at all.
So all of a sudden everyone gets to hear material that hasn't been worked on.
Yeah, exactly.
I believe it was his first time back.
Yeah, it was I think the first recording of anything he had. I think my disappointment came from it where, again, it's dumb to be disappointed because it's a comedy club clip. So I shouldn't be even have an opinion. But it was like I was really hoping if he did come back, he seems like the guy who's like, all right, I have a lot to say on this situation. And like just very good, like kind of like Chappelle where he has a great perspective on everything. And that comedy club clips just seem so angry where it was like, oh, it seems like he didn't.
So the lean in.
Yeah, he like went far, and I get it. Like if you feel like you're being attacked by everybody, but I don't know. We went right into talking about Louis. Like,
did we open it with I don't know if I should even?
Yeah, it was like,
and then we did 5 minutes. Perfect, exactly what I was looking for. So kind of with worrying about the line? Is that something you actively think about now?
I don't avoid anything. I think my sense of humor doesn't really involve, for the most part, anything like super provocative with it. But I'll have those moments where I'll go like, do you think this one's okay? And then I'm like, no, if I said it, I feel like it should be fine. Because I feel like most of the time, any joke I structure, if somebody is taking it in the way that, like, a lot of times if you make fun of something on the internet, they'll think you are that thing. You know?
Okay.
And it's like, that's on them for not figuring that out. You know, if you make a joke about something, say like racist, and the joke is that like, you're an idiot and you don't understand. And then they go like, what the hell is he doing? He just said something really fucked up. Not that I'm like saying a bunch of fucked up things, but then it's like, it's on them for not understanding it.
Have you ever received any backlash for a video?
Not for a video, I don't think. I received backlash from a certain video we were talking about before this, just from the audience of people, but never backlash, I think, from my own audience.
The bird video?
No, the off camera, the Instagram one. Yeah, that was just like getting like a bunch of trolls on my stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't really had like a huge backlash thing because I think what my stuff is like friendly, you know?
Sure, yeah.
Where it's not family friendly in any way, but it's friendlier where for the most part I'm not trying to like make people feel bad. So yeah, I haven't really had, I don't think, a big backlash thing.
Do you how do you feel about being called a YouTuber?
It's okay. I don't mind when we're around YouTubers, totally fine. But like when like a family member asks what I do or like a complete stranger, I feel like you always have to go like, not like Logan Paul though. That's like the phrase you have to say, like not like the Paul brothers.
Sure.
But it's so unfair because it's such a broad term, because you can be a welder and be a YouTuber, you know?
That's true. Yeah.
So it's just like it's a broad term for like I do what I do and it's on YouTube.
It's at this place.
But I love the platform. I really like. I'm proud. I grew up watching YouTube. I've always wanted to do it. So it's like I like being called a YouTuber, but certain times you have to give like a disclaimer for those people, I feel like.
I don't know how I fully feel about it. I remember when Casey Neistat was on his daily grind and he made his I'm a YouTuber video. There was this moment where I would call myself that. I'd also add other descriptors.
Yeah.
But it was this moment where I felt even more proud because it was right. Because obviously everything's different, but you had this top tier content, and that's what everyone thought of. Do you feel like when people maybe outside of your age group think of YouTube, they think of Jake Paul?
I think it kind of just depends on how much people are involved, because that's, I think with demographics, it's so weird now. Like my uncle, who's retired now, started watching my videos and like loves them now, and then everyone else in my family that's around his age has no idea what's going on for it. So it's weird because like even I have an older sister, and she like she doesn't really watch YouTube, but one of her friends does all the time and watches people that we watch. So it's weird where it's with a demographic thing. I don't know how to gauge it ever, because then I feel like I'm insulting the person, you know, if you start explaining. But I think if this were 2017, Jake and Logan are like the YouTubers.
Sure.
And now I think with every year that goes by, it's more and more legitimate.
Sure.
I think especially because people's kids who are now teenagers are also watching it all the time.
Sure. I mean, the age change is huge. I mean, we get so many of our deals from people that were going to college when I was first starting, and now they're in positions, and yeah, the change is interesting. Out of the bad actors of YouTube,
Okay.
who do you think is the greatest offender?
I mean, he's more self-aware now, but I think it's Logan.
Really?
Just because I am somebody who I don't think you can always condemn somebody for one thing. I do think they can change and grow.
Sure.
But it was before the whole scandal with him, obviously, with The Forest. It's just the way him and Jake sell to children. I hate it so much. Like a lot of my first videos when I was growing was about people advertising to children and not telling them. And when Nerd City made that video examining how much of Jake's videos are selling, love Nerd City, by the way. He like it's so disgusting to me, to be honest, that it's just they pretend to be there for these kids, and it's just a full advertisement to them.
Which one do you think is worse?
I definitely think that Jake is dumb and Logan isn't. I think Jake just genuinely, you know, like when Jake talks, it's fully just like, so yeah, I was making a video and I now realized that it was wrong because it was wrong. And like, that's the way he talks. So I don't know. It's weird though. I can't tell if he's pretending, because another Nerd City video, you know, is he did the Shane documentary and he was pretending to play dumb, but then also spoke at a conference about selling to kids. He's like, I'm not manipulating kids. And then was on a podium like, here's how you manipulate children for money. But yeah, I don't know. Jake makes more mistakes that are like, what were you thinking, dude? But Logan, I don't know. It's just with the sociopath stuff that he's talked about, like the sociopathic tendencies and everything. It's like, I just don't trust the guy. And especially that story that Ethan told on the podcast of like him kind of threatening him at a party a little bit.
Oh, I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. So all that kind of goes into one. And then he's like, oh, I put out a parody Flat Earth documentary. It's like, cool. I didn't forget about everything else though. Yeah.
I, before the Suicide Forest situation, I definitely, one, I was fascinated by them. Just like the whole back and forth music video thing.
Yeah.
Return of the Pauls. I was just like, this is, for me, and it's because I care about I really appreciate the business side of it. I was just thinking, this is genius.
For kids, especially. This genius.
Is amazing. I've always thought Jake Paul is the worst. I thought before the Suicide Forest, and I think I've talked about it on podcasts, I was actually a fan of Logan Paul. I find his content really really solid. You're gonna think worse of me.
No. I have even seen some of his vlogs, and there's more of an appeal, I think, to like older people than there are for Jake.
I think that he's also thinking now, Redemption Tour done, thinking about older audience, and I think you see that in his podcast, and he's interesting to me. I do not trust him. He's reached out to me several times to be a part of the Flat Earth thing. I feel comfortable saying that because he talked about it on his podcast. He also reached out to me around the Challenger games. and I just there's something that I'm still concerned. I'll still watch as an outside person because I'm fascinated by what the next 5 years are going to be for him.
Yeah, no, I get that.
I don't put them, even if I don't put them in the same camps.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm gonna get shit for that. Anytime I say something that's not completely negative about Logan Paul.
My big thing with Logan then is he will tweet something or make a joke about something that's more self-aware recently. And I'm like, that I almost liked you for a second. And that makes me not trust him even more. But okay, because he knows what he's doing.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing, is that there is no doubt that he is smart. There's no doubt that he's surrounded himself with people that are guiding him.
Yeah.
And so there's almost a part of it where that I think that puts it really well. You're like, oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Is that legit? Or are you knowing that people are going to react like this? Am I being manipulated right now?
Exactly. I was having a discussion about Logan's account with my brother, and he said something that was like, I was really smart for it. If he was saying, because it was right after OJ came back to Twitter, and he was saying like,
I hate that. That's a fucking
sentence. I know, that or not real. Back, but he was saying if OJ started memeing the things that happened before, he would gather an audience of people that would think it's hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
And there's nothing you can really do about it if he was making memes. So he's like, if OJ starts making jokes, you can meme your way out of murder, possibly. Like, not in court, but with the public perception. If he started making jokes about it, a lot of people would be like, that's pretty funny. They would, even though they'd be horrified.
I wonder what the public reaction would. I mean, I know that I can think of a number of people that would be like, yes.
Yeah. Every time he says, hey, Twitter world, I lose a year off my life. It's like, I can't understand. Anytime it's just, hey, Twitter world, it's like, what? It's OJ still. Like, people are retweeting this.
It's very interesting that we live in a year where you can see a headline where it's like, OJ Simpson comments on Democratic debate. And you're like, what? No.
And the thing he said was like, oh, it's everyone's duty to pay attention to this. And it's like, you're right, but you're also OJ, so I can't deal with this.
But you're also OJ is after everything he does.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
You're also OJ. I want to do something with you. Every now and then I organize stuff, but I wanted to do a lightning round of questions.
Okay.
Right. It's essentially like 100 questions that we thought for any. No. You're not going to do 100.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa.
You're going to be here for 45 more minutes. No, but it's like a bunch of questions that we wanted to ask. We're going to mix them up for different guests that we have on.
Okay.
But are you ready?
Yes.
The thing is,
so it has to be super fast. That's going to trip me up even more.
I know. That's the point. So we have.
Is it like mainly yes or no, or just kind of whatever?
Some are yes or no.
Okay.
And then others elaborate, which if you need I'll give it to you.
Got it.
Who's your celebrity crush?
I don't know if I have one. Really, genuinely, I don't.
Are you single?
Sort of.
Oh,
there's something.
Follow-up question to that was why?
I was going to keep that super private too, so that's
Why are you unsure?
It's not unsure. It's just a thing that might be developing, but who knows? It's too early.
Do they know?
Yeah. I'm just like in binoculars, like, oh, it's pretty much my girlfriend by now.
This would have been a differently received question 10 years ago. Would you date a fan?
No.
I love good.
Yeah.
Because if you didn't, we would have drawn that out.
Yeah.
No, that would have been horrible. What's your biggest pet peeve?
There's too many.
If you had to hang out with Jake Paul or Logan Paul, who would it be?
Probably Logan.
Rank from the funniest to the least funny. Gus Johnson, Drew Gooden, Danny Gonzalez.
I can't do that.
Now.
Nobody. None of them. Me. I'm number one.
Boo. Look at this self-preservation. It's very smart.
Me to support
it's not
the
like
boys.
You lose anything by not answering.
The real answer, though, is I don't think one of them is funnier than the other.
They're all really funny.
They're all funny in their own separate ways. Even though Danny and Drew's are similar, they both, I think, have very different qualities about them that I love.
Well,
and that's not
even the fact that they kind of play off of it, I think.
It's not a safe face answer. Really, I think I would not rank one of them privately as number one.
That's such a fucking lie. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm telling you the truth.
It's okay.
I promise.
Everyone knows that it's okay. And then the last one was going to be, what's the best purchase you've ever made?
Oh man, I know I said this in a conversation recently, but I don't remember what it was. One of the best, honestly, is my PlayStation VR headset. I've been absolutely loving it.
No, I agree.
Oh, but my Canon 70D. I bought it. I saved up for it with my first job, or not first job, but I saved up for it with my job right before YouTube. And I bought that. I'm still using it for my videos right now. The same camera. So that was definitely the best purchase, especially even profit wise, the best purchase I've ever made.
Best return.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was what because that one's also light, right? It's not made of. Yeah. So that was when everyone started switching over to trying to be Casey Neistat. I feel like everyone switched over to that one specifically because you could hold it.
That's what I hate is I bought it right before Casey started talking about it. And it's just like, now it's the Casey camera.
It's the Casey camera, damn it. But all the smaller ones now are like almost as high quality. I got a DJI Osmo. I don't vlog, but I just take videos for myself, which feels alien at this point. I'm like, oh, this is just for me.
It's what it used to be. Yeah.
This is why. So people could share, like I'll show it to my kid and then it's gone forever. And maybe I'll find it in 10 years. And what's the worst purchase you've ever made?
Oh man. Oh, I know it. It's Rock Band 4. Rock Band 4 is the worst purchase I've ever made. I don't purchase on big things usually. I like spending on video games and like food, and that's pretty much it. I'm not like and travel, but Rock Band 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, just because I played it with friends. One specific friend, different Zach, a lot of Zachs from where I'm from.
Yeah, we have 2 Zachs. We have 3 Zachs at this point.
Listen, guys. Phil was saying privately before the podcast, too many Zachs here.
Too many Zachs. They got to fight.
So just figure it out. One of you can Zach just looked over.
Luke's the most excited. He's like, good. There's too many people in this room.
But I used to play Rock Band 2 a lot with my friend Zach. And then Rock Band 4 was coming. I skipped 3 completely. 4 was coming out and we started playing 2 again, really hyped for it. And they were talking it up like crazy. IGN, I think, had some kind of deal with them where they had exclusive news. They were like, Rock Band 4's story is basically an RPG, and like talking about how great it was. And then they gave it like an 8 out of 10. And I bought it and I forgot how much Rock Band 4 was, but it's awful. Mad Catz made all the controllers for it.
Okay.
And, they're famous for back in the PS2 days having terrible controllers. They were the drums were out of sync instantly. I never got them fixed. They said like you could hook it up to your computer and update it. Didn't work. The customization, it used to be like tons of different aspects of the rock star for it, like shoes, shirt, like tattoos and everything. There were like 3 options. It was like bottom half, top half, hair. And then all the touring stuff sucked, and the music kind of sucked too on it.
I love it. When did this game come out?
3 years ago. I'm still holding the grudge.
Okay, yeah. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Didn't they? What is it? What's the thing that they like? You go to YouTube and people are playing it off of their PC, and people can upload like custom things. Or is that Rock Band 4?
I don't know which one that is. I don't know if that's Guitar Hero or Rock Band, but yeah, there's like one streamer that there's a lot of funny meme clips of him doing like just songs that are unexpected.
Yeah,
like Dicko mode.
Oh. I was like, wait, what? Oh no, I've seen that video. I've seen that video.
We all know Dicko mode, right, guys?
So I'm fascinated by the moment that you stumbled and confused me. What has your relationship situation been?
Oh, this is Phil. I personally, for my life, I have enjoyed being single so much that it's a flaw that I have where I would start seeing somebody, and then about a month, like not officially, but a month in, and my brain just goes, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, the 1 month and the 3 month, I feel like are big milestones.
Yeah,
if you make it past 3 months, that might be someone that you're with for years and years and years. But so you would kind of be or go out with a girl.
Yeah.
Maybe not label it.
Right.
And then at about a month, you're like,
yeah.
Is it, what is that feeling?
It's purely in my head.
Boredom?
I just overthink everything. It's not even, I feel terrible about it every time because it's not like I just want to be on my own. It's just my brain will just like shut off for wanting to continue, where it's like, I don't know what to do now. I don't know. It's like a real flaw. I talk about it with Jake all the time. It's just, I don't know. I don't have much to say about it. It's just like what happens a lot of the time.
So if I can ask, is this thing that you don't know what to call it, is this past a month?
It's not. Well, it's weird. If I talk about it, if I answer this question, it will give away too much information because I like keeping this stuff private. But
yeah, I get that. You always want to have something for yourself.
Currently, it's different than those other times.
Okay.
And I wouldn't, trust me, I would not say that.
So only put the time code in of when you
this
send
could be
this.
seen by this person, and it probably
I know, that's what
will.
I'm saying.
This is,
you just send them this time code.
but this is worse. This is like, because if I say too much, then it's weird, and if I say not enough, it's really not.
What do you like? What do you like in a person?
What do I like in a person?
What is there even? What's the appeal of being with another person?
I don't know. That's why I've been single so long. I don't know. It's usually, for me, it was like I would think that I was almost supposed to like be dating someone by the point I was in, because I've still like not been in a committed relationship. Not through like high school, not through college. Sure. So normally for me, it's like, oh, I know a lot of people feel a lot more comfortable getting in relationships with people. And for me, it's like a almost last resort, not in a negative way, but it's like not last resort like as a backup plan, but it's like when you find someone you do really, really want to be with, that's when you do it.
Sure.
And not any other time, which I know is different for other people. You know, some people just like being in relationships. And that's,
some people need to be in relationships.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, I feel like that's a scarier thing, especially when you're your age, right? So I wouldn't look at what you're thinking about as a negative.
I know, but it feels weird.
I'm not the 33-year-old guy going 22, man. You gotta get in something serious.
I hate those people.
Your career's been blowing up over the last year. Really need to just have another person involved in that. You need to do it. No, I think it's fine. I get what. So this time's different,
right?
You thought I was going to stop. I'm not.
Yeah, I did,
because I feel like we're getting somewhere.
We're not getting anywhere. This is something that like I was even planning, like, oh, even if I'm like dating this person fully, I probably won't speak about it. But then here we are.
I think that's fine though, because then people start trying to fuck up your like just say random bullshit.
I like people who, even if they're like public about the relationship, there's like not much about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Of like I don't know. I don't like people the weird cutesy shit, because those people always break up.
Fucking dare you.
Dare you. Your stuff is different. That's family cutesy shit. That works. That's wholesome. I'm talking about like two people who just had a fight and are tweeting about how much they love each other publicly.
Yeah, no, there's a number of those, and you're just like, yeah, that's how they are.
Yeah.
That's how they are.
That's a lot of things with I was actually having this conversation with Gus too. Is there's a lot of those people that you really like love, where even that's how they are on the internet. Like people, you ever have a friend that's like terrible with Snapchat stories or Instagram stories, and they're totally cool in person? You're like, if only this one thing that they're super cringy about, if they could just stop doing that publicly. Because I don't know. I'm really kind of judgmental about Snapchat and Instagram stories.
Really?
Not like
what makes them cringy?
I think when somebody's trying to make sure other people know they're having a great time. Where I mean, if you're honestly talking about it, if somebody made a story and was like, "Hey guys, just want to say like I've been really happy in my life lately," that's fine. But when people are like, "In LA, I'm in Hollywood, isn't that fucking nuts?" And it's like, you could be in Hollywood and be anybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change your life.
Yeah, it's like the flex so you feel valid.
Yeah.
That's always
And
rough.
when I can see that coming through, it's like, oh, I hate this.
The relationship thing though, that is interesting, because I've definitely known, especially kind of newer couples, that it felt like they stayed together for the content.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. And even if they ended up splitting, it took 4 times as long, because I mean, in part, it ends up being, I think, the money for them. But I think the other thing is, it's like if something happens with me and my wife, we're going to get a divorce. It's luckily like we don't have this constant thing together.
Yeah.
So I have to just explain it to my kids. We talk to our friends. That's it. Yeah. Right. Obviously, I'm explaining the most amicable divorce that's ever happened. But when you make your relationship the content, the primary content, it's like you're breaking up with 100,000 to 1 million children.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting to me to see the evolution of the public breakup.
Yeah.
Because I've had buddies do bad examples of it, which is that version's usually the solo. You're not together. You're just saying stuff that maybe you didn't get cleared.
Yeah.
And then it all blows up in your face. I think the example that everyone goes to now is Liza and, oh my God, David, Jesus.
Yeah.
How did I forget David Dobrik's name?
Always those moments.
I was like, and Drew. Nope. That was me trying to get you to say if he was funny or not.
If Drew was funny or not? Yes.
Yes, but 100%.
But yeah, no, I don't know. It's especially when I see people, making content out of their relationships. For me, as somebody who's single and as like kind of picky as I am, I'm just like, are these people insane? Because like when you make the content out of it, I only think of the worst case scenario. Where the best case scenario is great, but also it's better. I'm even for people who aren't dating. I prefer people to have their own content and then also do the thing together on the side. Because like no matter what, it's like, what if Gus lost his mind like tomorrow and like stabbed me and then went to jail and the podcast was the only thing we did?
Sure.
So then I'd have to be like, hey guys, just got stabbed by Gus. It's the Eddie podcast now. Like there's nothing. It's always good, I think, to have your own thing going on the side. Especially that sounds really weird with relationship talk. Make sure you got your own thing going on the side. But no, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So when Gus or this person that you're not naming and don't know if it's a thing.
Back to this, yeah.
I only do it because it makes me kind of laugh how uncomfortable you get.
Yeah, no, it's
which isn't okay.
No,
because it's not like we know each other like that.
Still though,
this is funny. Like I feel like this is like 4 months in, I'm fucking with you.
Yeah,
which is not good because mainly we've just shit posted on each other's Twitter.
Yeah,
that's
like it. Most of it. Yeah.
I feel like that's where I think I initially found you because of the the yikes meme.
Right, yeah.
Which is just, what video is that from?
That was the Instagram one.
Oh.
That was in, I think, yeah.
Like the video I keep trying not to fucking talk about, dude.
No, that one, I think, it is, I didn't even think that one was going to be that good. Like I didn't think people were going to think that joke was that funny. I even showed it to some friends and they liked it. And I was like, maybe I should cut this out. But I think especially because it was like, in response to a death threat, that's like what charges that meme way more.
I think that's what charges it, but I think it's also, well, specifically in the video and not just like the holding it, it's the timing. That's so great. The build up.
Yeah, a lot of people thought I was buying a gun. That's what a lot of the comments say. They're like, I thought you were going to the store to buy a gun. It's just a poster. Yeah, that one I see in the wild all the time now. Like if I'm just, I'll see like some kind of like NBA Twitter thread and I'll see yikes in there and I'm just like, oh shit, this is like become a thing now.
Yeah, you're gonna be you and crying Jordan. Gonna be still relevant.
Doesn't Jordan hate the crying Jordan meme?
I don't know. I imagine he can't be super pumped.
Yeah.
That anytime I've seen him talk, he seems justly like the most egotistical man I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, I've heard some stories in being from Chicago of like people at charity events that have interacted with him. Not like I'm around important charity event people. It was like a college professor said it, and everything I hear is that he's like an asshole.
Yeah,
and yeah.
Do you find yourself constantly doing that? Making sure making sure you interject that you're not special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the time. Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I just think it's because I'm just a person.
I'm just a dude.
That's what I felt uncomfortable about even. I didn't call people who watch my videos like my fans. I avoided it for a really long time. I do it more now just because like it's easier to say, because before I used to say people who watch my videos, but I hated the word fans for years.
Yeah. Well, because a lot of the time when you hear people talk about their fans, and maybe it's because I'm an asshole, I would often take it as someone saying it in a way that they're special or valid or something, rather than just a proper explanation of the situation. Because the thing that I think is way worse is when someone legitimately calls everyone their friends.
Yeah.
I've like, probably been guilty of this. In case anyone wants to play this back to back with me being a hypocrite, I've evolved. And I definitely, when I meet someone, it definitely feels like a friend, where it's the continuation of a conversation that only I have been talking.
Yeah.
Right. And they've been hearing, but there's still even something that feels, and I think it depends on the person. It really depends on the person, because there are people out there who have actively talked about how good they are at kind of manipulating their audience.
Yeah,
which is wild that you can openly say it and then still fucking thrive when you do it.
I know.
But yeah, that's crazy.
I think especially when, even if I say it now, it's the idea of, I think some people think the phrase "my fans," like you said, means like dedicated people to them, and everybody watching their videos is dedicated. That number is like how many people. And it's like, no, they're fans of your stuff, and some people might like you, and some people might be like fans of you, but that's a whittled down number compared to what people have. And I think some people are like, oh, 1 million subscribers, 1 million people would die for me. It's like, no, they won't. So yeah, I don't know.
What were your shirt sales? Okay, divide that by 4. Yeah. That's probably the number.
The weird thing is shirt sales are actually kind of a good way to figure out like who really cares, kind of, even if they don't want to, like, some people just really care and don't want to buy a shirt, but you can find out how many people wanted to like wear your thing.
Yeah, they wanted to rep you.
Yeah, so that was interesting to find out.
Yeah, well, this is going to come off in the worst possible way. Whenever we're talking about whether it actually be just about engagement or we're talking about it from the business side, when we're talking about sponsorships, stuff like that. All fans are not created equal, right? And I mean that in the sense of some will watch me on the weekend. Some will watch and they have notifications for every single thing that I do.
Right.
Some respond to every single tweet. This number buys or will involve money in some way. And it's just, I think that's like one of the biggest things. And it's also been interesting for Beautiful Bastard, our hair stuff. We've been involved more and more with Instagram influencers.
Really?
And yeah, it is such a, we're doing like micro right now, so it's smaller. It's all of this really interesting learning experience. Some of these people, they're making bank with 30,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. Yeah. Like have agents at 30,000 followers. Like,
I think I have like 40. What's going on? No, but yeah, that's really bizarre. That's a really low number, I would think, to like make really good money off of Instagram for it.
Someone was at a side where I looked at their stuff and I enjoyed it. And this was before we were even engaging in any like small deals. And we were just sending people stuff. We're like, hey, you have facial hair unlike me. You seem attractive. You want my stuff? And there was one dude, I won't name it because I've had people completely fuck me over and I don't name them. He connected me to his agent, and at 10,000 followers and not a ton of engagement, they asked for $3,500.
What?
And I was like, has someone given that to you? Because if so, you hired the best fucking agent on the planet.
Holy shit. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, it was wild.
That's like, because even, engagement wise for like YouTube, that's like for somebody with 100,000 subscribers, that's like a high number.
I was like, does everyone that watch your stuff buy it?
Yeah.
is your conversion rate 1,000?
Yeah, that's I would assume that they were just kind of trying to highball and figure it out, because I feel like that's the weird thing is entering in any of this internet stuff is nobody knows what number is right, and I feel like everyone figures out the worst possible way of somebody screwing them over. And they're like, oh wait, I talked to my YouTube friends and I got 1/10 of what I was supposed to get. Like, fuck, it's a terrible feeling.
Well, yeah, well it's very car sales-esque of even if you're getting something good, you feel fucked.
Yeah.
Just like, how much are you getting? How much are you taking off the top?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's always the rough thing. Our thing with having a schedule has been, okay, we can ask for a better rate if we make sure that our shows are sold out. And so that's why there's like, especially also because we constantly get demonetized, that there was always a focus on sponsorships. But if we're sold out for a month, then because everyone will undercut you, right? Like I don't know what your rate is, and do not say it on this camera, but you might say that. And then someone close to your size where they're not taking into account the engagement, they're not taking into account all these other factors that matter past the view count, will completely undercut you because they'll take anything.
Yeah.
And there have been services out there that I think try to set the price, but I don't know. And there are programs that take into account the engagement. We use them, but it's rough. It's hard.
Yeah. I won't mention any names with that stuff because I'll get like blacklisted from any sponsorship stuff. But I've had full on arguments with some ad people, like where they are getting kind of personal and I'm not at all, where it'll be stuff like just so people know who are doing YouTube and getting into it, you think like, oh, once my numbers are bigger, they're going to just offer me more. And it's like, no, they're going to just try and re-up the same amount no matter how much influence you're bringing in. I've had people link my own friends' channels to me and be like, well, they're making more because they're a bigger deal. And it's like, whoa, it was Drew. They linked Drew. They were fully, I won't mention the company, but they were like, I did the math and I was like, Drew got these views. I'm getting less. It should be this percentage less. And they were kind of just like, yeah, well, like, Drew's a bigger deal. So, and it's like, yeah, that's why it's more money. It was weird.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I the nice thing too is I screenshotted them saying how big of a deal Drew was, gave it to Drew, and then Drew just used it for negotiating power against them. It was like, you guys were saying I was a huge deal.
I was a huge deal.
Yeah. So I got to.
Don't you like my name associated with yours guys?
Yeah. I got to fuck him over a little bit because that was it was
That's
a nice feeling.
fucking shitty thing to say.
I know it's happened before where I'll just have people link, or I'm not good with advertisers because I try and make it seem like I'm reading copy every single time, and I also try to make it as
like
funny
you
as
make it like stiff.
sometimes, or make a joke out of doing that.
Sure.
So I'm always reading off of something, even with our podcast. I'm pulling something up to read off of it, and I usually try and make it a joke. So like I've had a lot of, there's those like kind of more middleman companies where they bring it to, and those they're in, trying to be in the best interest of everybody, but they'll just be like, what did you give me? Like, this is not an ad for this company. And they were like, you should fix this. And sometimes I've got like, it was cool for NordVPN is like, I heard back
Those
from the
guys
middle
are dope.
one. Yeah, they're great. The middleman company, they're totally correct to do it. We're like, maybe you should reshoot this, but we're passing it along anyway. And Nord was just like, no, you're good. I don't think I really described what Nord was to the fullest extent. And it was like this terrible, I was using like a shoe as a visual example. I don't even remember what I did. It was just like some video for it, but Nord was cool with it. So yeah, I don't get many ads on my channel for it.
No, well, one, you kind of always hope that the brand is cool like Nord is.
Yeah.
We've been fortunate enough where like 90% of them are. And as we expand every now and then, we get so can you send us the video 72 hours in advance?
Oh.
And then I say, I do the news.
Yeah.
I can send you just the spot. And we've had to cancel some deals because it's one of those things where they want your numbers, but they don't want you, right? Or someone didn't take into account. It's one of those situations where at the very last second, the company finds out and like that it's you, and that it's this content. And they're like, oh fuck no.
Yeah.
Our main issue has been with cell phone out of the country cell phone companies.
Okay.
Not Ting. They're self-service. They're fantastic. Just don't want anyone confusing that. Phil.ting.com. We were just talking about before the show about it's inappropriate to mention sponsors while the other guest is on the show, but I'm doing it.
That's fine.
It's either this or I'm bringing up your relationship.
Is this the ad read?
No, there's no ad read.
You said sponsorships while they were there. It's your own stuff. I was like, is this what's happening right now?
My goal is for every guest that comes on, there's 4 moments where they go, wait, is this what's happening right now?
That's all of our podcasts as well. We have to warn people before where like the ending of ours isn't an outro. We just end it on like a joke. So we have to like plug their stuff in the middle of the podcast or else it'll just get it.
And here's a break.
Yeah. Because it's just fully, we've had times where like Gus will scream and then the video will end. And that's like, that's whole. So yeah.
But I feel like that's pretty on brand.
Yeah. Screaming. That's more of us.
This is the only time I'll do it because I hate when people do it when I'm doing an interview. Is he as Gus Johnson when he's not on camera being Gus Johnson?
Yeah, I would say both of us have had discussions. Both of us on camera are pretty much us off camera.
Yeah. Well, I definitely get that feel with you.
Yeah. But Gus also, his videos can be very like loud and sometimes, certain characters for it.
Sure.
I mean, Gus is just always doing bits and hilarious and fun to hang out with. You get more of that from like our podcast of what he's like. But yeah, it's not like constant like characters around the house. He's not like holding the Reddit like upvote downvotes like smashing through things or anything. But yeah, no, he's pretty much what you'd expect from the videos.
Okay, yeah, because I've definitely had friends that are always on, and to the point where you're like, are you on something?
Oh yeah, that's not him.
And yeah, and it's a lot. And then I feel like more often now you find people are just kind of like slightly more exaggerated versions where it's just like, I can't be low energy on this.
Yeah.
Whereas, yeah, I think a lot of people are always thrown off when they meet me because I feel like they think that I'm going really fast because they haven't watched the vlog, or I don't have a vlog anymore. I don't know.
Well, I mean, you were pretty much what I expected. Not that that's like
wait,
weird.
what did you expect?
I expected you, and you were like, it wasn't like a shock, like, oh, Phil kicked me in the shins when I walked in or anything.
Or the other way, where it's like you come in and I'm like, here's a bunch of stuff I signed for you. It's
yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Totally just like autographing my arm as we're recording.
You're welcome. Completely shifting gears. You have a series where you talk about really, really bad movies. I want to ask you, what is the best worst movie? This
is actually great because the video won't be out yet, but the next video I do is on my favorite bad movie. So this sounded like such a Jimmy Kimmel talk show. I'm glad you mentioned that, Phil, because I'm making a video.
Your team sent this over and said we had to include it. Okay.
That stuff makes me cringe so much, where they're like, actually, it's funny that you ask. And it's like, you guys did a pre-interview for this.
We know this.
My absolute favorite bad movie isn't The Room, even though it's a higher ranker, but The Room is like pretty overdone now, and I'm pretty tired of the memes. Troll 2 is still my absolute favorite.
Yes.
Troll 2 is way better than The Room at being a bad movie.
So I've still never actually seen The Room. Okay. I've watched the movie about The Room.
Yeah.
I need to. Everyone keeps telling me if I watch it, I have to watch it at an actual movie theater with everyone else.
That's cool. But the thing is, The Room is weird because of Tommy, and the movie's a little bit boring. But Troll 2, you are entertained from start to finish. The
entire time.
And everybody's weird in that movie. Like, every single person is weird.
I feel like I may have talked about this like 7 years ago on a video that got no views. When I was a kid, the popcorn scene was the hottest thing to my little child brain at the time. I couldn't believe I was watching this thing. Yeah. I don't think I understood what was happening. But I was like, is this how sex works? Is this what sex is?
That movie teaches us all a lot. I didn't watch it until I was in high school, so I'm surprised you said. Was it like reruns, or did you rent it? Or
I don't know why. I think it has to have.
It came to you in a dream.
It came to me on a dream. Because when did that movie? The movie is super old.
Yeah, it's from the 80s.
Fuck. Well, the thing you have to remember is I was born in 1985.
Okay.
And people before Netflix, there were just things on TV.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it would have been an HBO or something. That's a really good question, because did someone buy a VHS of Troll 2?
Did you pick it out at Hollywood Video? Because that's
Hollywood Video.
I miss Hollywood Video so much.
Man.
God, I loved Hollywood
I used to go to Blockbusters and just play Star Fox, the first level, over and over and over
just
again.
Just on the demo thing they had for it?
Yeah, because it was on a Super Nintendo, right? I think it was.
I never played Star Fox.
Sorry. Fucking child. Fucking unappreciating.
I played the PS1 and everything. That was my first console, was PS1.
God, just thinking, I think that's going to be a lot of people's, even like a generation younger than me, when I used to go to the movie theater, I could get this for a nickel. People talking about PlayStation 1. I remember playing PlayStation, playing SimCity on PlayStation, having to stop because the memory card couldn't handle the late game SimCity. The
amazing city you had.
Yeah, it was just too much. It was like the biomes, bullshit like that. But last thing that, so Troll 2, last thing, we talked about, how do you gauge success? Family making you happy. What do you think so far has been like the biggest standout moment? I'm going to kind of give you a two-prong.
Okay.
So you don't seem heartless if it ends up being a business thing. Career-wise, right? Thing that's made you happiest career-wise, like if there was a moment, and then personal.
Okay. Career-wise, it's one that's not like some reaching it moment or anything. Really, it's by far my favorite moment that I've had with YouTube so far. And it was in 2017. Gus and I had just started like hanging out, in the summer we shot that thing together. And then, in October, I believe it was, there's Bufferfest in Toronto. Gus was invited and he had a +1 and I went with him. And I was at, I think like 15K subs and he was at like 80 or something. So we were way smaller than we are now. And we went to it and we shot a video for it that was like kind of all right. It's called A Serious Conversation. It's one of the worst videos we've ever made, but it's dumb and it's fun. And we showed it there and the other YouTubers there liked it a lot. And we started like, they were complimenting us and we had never been in anything to like talk to other YouTubers. Do you know Dom Farah at all? Dom, he makes short films like on YouTube.
Maybe.
Yeah. He way in the past he made the Laser Collection. So Dom was somebody who I love his short films a lot. And we went to the party at the YouTube space after. And I was like, oh, I kind of want to say something to Dom, but I don't want to be like a weird fan. And Dom came up to us and then was super nice to us and was like kind of gushing about our video. And then we loved his as well. And Gus and I just had this great night where everyone was super nice to us. Like John Cozart was super nice as well. He's like the nicest guy I've ever met. And Gus and I went outside of the party and it was just this like in the alleyway feeling of like, we did it. Like, we're YouTubers. We did it. And it was fully like we got like people liked us and wanted to hear more from us. And we felt like we were finally kind of accepted into the community and that we hadn't moved in together yet, but that was the plan. And it just kind of felt like a moment where it like cemented this currently being a possibility for us.
This is happening.
And it was like this kind of weird, almost like giddy, drunk, like, holy shit, we did it. And it was just me and him in an alleyway, like being, if it was on film, I'd be like, embarrassed by it because we were just kind of like celebrating. It was weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really nice moment.
Eddie, if there's one last thing on that you can kind of say that maybe you've learned through this experience, or maybe it's guided you, or you just want to blurt it out because it's actually wrong and you just want to see people's lives destroyed, what's one thing you could leave the audience?
I don't know. If it has to do with like any YouTube stuff or anything. I mean, for me,
how do you get what makes your life better? What's something you do or don't do that makes your life better? So
I think something I do is like kind of how I've mentioned before is spending time with people that I really like. And I've really, really enjoyed my job has allowed me to go back home pretty much all the time. I do it very frequently. And also the friends I have on YouTube are like the nicest people ever. And they're my super close friends now. Like when people see, I guess there's not like a clear line of who's in it, but like the boys that we talk about is like, all those guys are my really, really close friends along with my hometown friends. So yeah, I guess I'm really enjoying myself just because everybody around me is so great. And it's like, it's really easy to, even if there's, like everybody has days where, you're like having a worse day, you're just sad for no reason. But it's nice to just be able to like call a bunch of different people that I love. And it's really, I don't know, I'm enjoying everything right now. Kind of almost don't want things to change right now because everything seems great. And I'm sure something's going to come crashing down real soon. It's been about a year. Something's going to go wrong. No, man, I think it can work. I definitely, I feel what you're saying about working with your friends. And I think it can be awesome, especially as long as no one's ego kind of gets out of control, which sometimes happens. But I think the best thing with all of us is that we all, even though I've loved channels where people do things together and some of them work great. Like I think Funhouse works great because everybody there just works perfectly with each other. But I think it's better for all of us that we don't work on the same thing. Sure. Because, and we all have our separate thing going on. And really that whole friend group is just people that I respected and became friends with, like just by happening to talk to each other. But really it's like none of us, I love everybody's videos of all those guys. They're all like incredible. So it's just, I don't know. It's nice. They're not going to kick you out of the group, Eddie. They're not. It's fine. Listen, you haven't seen Drew when the doors are shut. Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. He beats me. Thanks so much for doing this, man. Dude, thank you for having me. This is like a huge deal for me. You can check him out at youtube.com/Gus Johnson. Fuck.